So one of the considerations for larger kayaks is getting the placement of the KayaArms on the hull correct. And you can see, if just pan underneath, you can see where we got that to fit nicely at the front, and that's your stabilization one, and that's the most important one to get right. And in the back one, we just move this one so it spans most of the way across so that it can support the weight. It really only needs to be 2/3 of the way across and bring it all up. But so in our case here, we're about 7 feet 6. Usually we're around the 6 foot mark, or 5 to 6 foot mark for skinnier kayaks, and so we're a little bit longer towards the ends on the fatter ones, on the wider ones. So I'm going to show a couple of things with the wider kayaks that you have to pay a little bit more attention to. The first thing I'm going to talk about is I've taken and I put in 2 2x6, actually 2x8s today because that's what I had, and I put them on the stringer of my dock to build it out, because what happens when you raise and lower and in a wider kayak, there can be some interference between the edge of your kayak and the dock. And so by building it out just an extra couple of inches, and all I'm doing there is just putting a 2x6, very simply taking 2x6 and screwing that onto my ledger. It's nothing more fancy than that. The other thing I'm going to do is I put in the added rope technique, and the reason I'm going to show you why I've done that. But first, I'm just going to lower the kayak, and you can see how, if there's any interference, just watch the interference there. You can see, and going to come, and again. And I'm going to drop this one, as I said, all the way to the bottom. I just have to look. I think that's a little bit high. I'll go down one. No, that's pretty good. Okay. All right. Now, so without the added rope technique, what happens when you get in the kayak, I'll just show you, there's a tendency on the wider kayaks to swing out like this. Okay? And so what I like to be able to do is use what I call the added rope technique. And a couple things that the added rope technique does for me is it locates, when I spend some time in getting to see where to get the hull to fit nicely on the front KayaArm. And then what I do is I fasten a piece of rope to the chair where I sit on, and then I use that to lock it in. Just a cleat. And I have a cleat, sometimes I use a golf ball with a hole in it, but I like these kind of cleats so they can't stub their toe when it's all nicely folded down. That's why I like those ones. So what you'll see now is that when I step into the kayak, see if it holds it from, it doesn't kick out like that. Now that's the nice part. And the other thing is it positions me where I want to be on the KayaArm. So kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. Does the positioning. So if someone else comes new and they say, well, I want to use your kayak, and you say, well, just simply you go and you hook the loop on and away you go, and you don't have to teach them a lot of things. But it takes a little bit just in the beginning time to figure out exactly where to get that to sit, and exactly where you get your good stabilization, like I'm talking about here. And one of the things when you're using a heavier kayak is to make sure that these KayaArms are perfectly plumb and very stiff. And you can see that's pretty good. And over here the same. Thanks very much for watching.